What's up YouTube? I'm here doing my prediction video for UFC 212. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Marco Beltran versus Deiveson Alcantara, and to me Marco Beltran is just a decent wrestler and that's about it. I think he's got a little bit of grappling, a little bit of striking, but overall I don't think he's that great. I think he's got a lot of finish losses, and I think Deiveson Alcantara looks like a really solid up-and-comer. He's like 11 or 12-0 with a mix of knockout and submission wins. I just think he looks really solid, and I think he's probably going to win by knockout or submission, probably second round. Next is Luna Changes versus Jim Wallhead, and to me Jim Wallhead's really good. I think he just lost a really close split decision in his debut fight. Luna Changes just looks like he's primarily a striker with a little bit of grappling, but I think Jimmy Wallhead's overall technique and experience is going to give him the edge in this fight, and I think he's probably going to get a finish late in the third. Next is Viviane Pereira versus Jamie Moyla, and to me, Jamie Moyla is just alright. I don't think she's really amazing anywhere. I think Viviane Pereira looks really good. She just beat Valia Letourneau in her UFC debut. That fight was really close. I thought it could have went either way, but she still looked good against a chick that's really, really good in my opinion, and I think she's probably going to get this fight probably by decision, maybe late TKO. Next is Yuri Alcantara versus Brian Keller, and Brian Keller's taking this fight on really short notice. He's taken only on like a couple weeks notice, and I think Yuri Alcantara is just too good a guy to fight somebody on like a couple weeks notice. You know, Brian's primarily just a striker, and I think Yuri's probably going to hit a takedown pretty early in the fight, and once he does, I think he's eventually going to win by submission. Next is Johnny Eduardo versus Matthew Lopez, and to me, Matthew Lopez, you know, in his debut he didn't look great, but in his last fight he looked pretty good. He got dropped early, and he's kind of got that Diego Sanchez style where he just keeps coming at people and he doesn't get tired. But I think that he's not a great striker, and he relies a lot on his wrestling. I think Johnny Eduardo's takedown defense is a little too good, and his striking's way better than that guy that Matthew just fought. I think that what's probably going to happen is he's probably going to catch Matthew eventually and win by knockout. I think his takedown defense is just a little bit too good too, so I got Eduardo winning by KO. Next is Carlos Jr. versus Eric Spicely, and both these guys are jiu-jitsu guys, but I think that Carlos has the better striking overall. He's also more willing to strike. I think Eric Spicely just really tries to force fights to the ground and win by submissions really quick. I think Carlos Jr. is just a little bit too good of a grappler to get caught in a submission like that. I think that he's going to eventually wind up on top or get it back to the feet and probably win by knockout with his strikes. Next is Rafael Assunção versus Marlon Moraes, and I honestly don't understand why this fight isn't on the main card. I honestly think it's the second or third best fight on the card overall. For the people who don't know who Marlon Moraes is, he's the World Series of Fighting Bantamweight champion, and he's won like 10 or 12 straight. His record overall is like 18-4, but he's looked really good over the last like couple of years. And I kind of wish they would have given him a guy in like the 11-15 as his first fight, or even just like 10 or 9. But they gave him Assunção right off the bat, and I think both these guys fight pretty similarly. I think Marlon Moraes might have a little bit better striking, but Assunção's probably got the better grappling overall. I just think that Assunção's got way too much experience against high-level people, and I think that sooner or later he's going to get this fight to the ground and win by submission, so I got Assunção winning by sub. Next is Erick Silva versus Yancy Medeiros, and this fight is really, really close. I think it could go either way. I think both these guys are kind of just in that above average range. I think Yancy probably has slightly better striking, and Eric probably has a little bit better jiu-jitsu. So it's kind of just who can implement their game plan. I think both these guys have the same problem, which is that the longer the fight goes, the sloppier they get. And they're both more likely to just get hit by something big and knocked out. This fight is really freaking close, but I'm going to go with Eric. I think that he'll get the takedown in the first round and probably win by submission. But like I said, I still think this fight could go either way. These guys' names are kind of hard to say, so I'm just going to use their first names. It's Paulo versus Oloel, and these guys have the exact same style. It's just they blitz people really fast in that first round, and they both have only first-round knockout wins. I honestly don't think either of these guys are that great, and I don't know why this fight's on the main card instead of Assunção versus Morales, but I'm going to go with Paulo just because he's undefeated, so that just gives me a little bit more faith in him. I honestly don't think either of these guys are going to do well against top 10 competition. I think that once they get past that first round, the better guys are just going to grind on them, but I think Paulo is going to win by first round knockout. Next is Vitor Belfort versus Nate Marquardt, and this is Vitor's last fight in the UFC. I'm not sure if his last fight overall, but it's definitely his last fight in the UFC. He's already said that for a while. I thought Vitor looked decent in his last fight, even though he lost. I think that he's he's putting a lot of effort into it right now. He's obviously not as good as he used to be, but neither is Nate Marquardt. I think this fight depends entirely on if Vitor can keep it standing. And if he can keep it standing, like in his last fight against Gastelum, he showed a decent ability to get back up. I think he's the better striker. I think he's faster. Because they're both about 40, you know what I mean? So I'm going to say Vitor will win by knockout, probably in the first round. And then he's probably going to go fight in Japan. That's just my guess because I don't think he's done fighting. But first round knockout for Vitor. Next is Claudia Gadelha versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And to me, Karolina is a really good striker, but that's about it. I think she's kind of like a lesser version of Joanna. I think Claudia Gadelha is a really good striker with grappling, and she mixes the two together really well. I think that she's kind of got that Nova and Yao style where she's really good for like the first 2 rounds, and then she starts to slow down as it goes. If this is a 5-round fight, I would honestly strongly consider picking Karolina, but because it's a 3-round fight, I'm pretty sure Claudia's going to win the first 2, and then the third is probably going to go to Karolina. But I think overall, Claudia's probably going to win this fight 2-1, and 29-28 decision. Finally, we got the main event, the best fight on the whole card, in my opinion, is Jose Aldo versus Max Holloway. I'm not sure if Jose Aldo is the actual champ right now or if it's 2 interim belts. It should be 2 interim belts in my opinion because Conor was still the champ when Aldo fought fucking Frankie. At least I think he was. So I think it's 2 interim champs and then the winner is going to be the undisputed champ. At least that's how it should be. And Jose Aldo looked really good against Frankie Edgar, but neither of those guys, that fight wasn't really that impressive. I think Max Holloway, he's been looking amazing. I mean, he's won 10 straight, and I think he's looked better every single fight. I think that is one of those things. If Max Holloway can get this fight to the deep rounds, he should be able to win. I think his volume and the fact that he attacks the body so much is going to favor him. I mean, Aldo definitely has a shot in those first couple rounds. He actually looked really good in the fight with Frankie. He won all 5, but I don't think Frankie attacks the body the same way Holloway does. And Frankie tries to go for a lot more takedowns. I think Holloway's just going to be striking with the whole time. It's a really close fight, but I think Holloway's either going to win by 48-40. He's going to win it 3-2, or he's going to get like a late 4th or 5th round TKO. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.